Black and Latino lawmakers at war with House campaign chair. AOC versus Pelosi, I think we got a truce. Senate intel says foreign hackers were everywhere in 2016. I'm Jamal Simmons. This is why you should care. There's trouble brewing inside the Democratic caucus. Chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Cheri Bustos, is being called out by senior Black and Hispanic members of Congress over personnel decisions and for what they say are tone-deaf comments on race, while the DCCC insists that it is committed to increasing diversity among its staff. Prominent minority lawmakers criticized Bustos for not living up to campaign promises that she made in order to win the chairmanship. She didn't appoint minorities to top decision-making positions within the DCCC, like she promised. But wait, there's more. Key aides are jumping ship. Bustos' previous chief of staff, Jaleesa Washington, an African-American woman, left the committee after just 2 months for a job with Kamala Harris's campaign. Sonia Kim, the party's director of mail, left for the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. And just last week, Nancy Sedunkwitz, somebody we know well around here, she's the party's polling director. She left the committee too. Here's why you should care. Democrats have a big fight ahead of them in the 2020 presidential election campaign. It's hard to win a campaign without a team that understands the breadth of issues facing the country. And the Democratic voting bloc is colorful and it's diverse and its voters demand representation. The House Democrats campaign chair is going to have to dish out some answers as the clock to 2020 continues to count down. Well, they hoped to meet last week, but instead it happened today. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Maverick freshman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez broke bread to try and clear the air. You might remember that the speaker took issue with AOC and her fellow squad members, voting against a voter aid package that they said didn't do enough. There was also Pelosi's beef that AOC and her colleagues were getting outsized attention. She told the New York Times all these people have their public whatever in their Twitter world, but they didn't have any following. There are 4 people. And that's how many votes they got. Ouch. The freshman from New York fired back in an interview with the Washington Post saying the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful. The explicit singling out of newly elected women of color, which is how we got to today.
We sat down today, we had a good meeting, and the Congresswoman is a very gracious member of Congress. I've always felt, again, it's like you're in a family. In a family, you have your differences, but you're still a family.
For her part, Ocasio-Cortez said the meeting was positive and productive, adding,
"The speaker respects, the fact that we're coming together as a party and that unity, and I'm looking forward to us getting back in September."
So why should you care? For Democrats, the United House is a happy house, and that's what Nancy Pelosi wants more than anything. For Republicans, the bigger the squabble between the speaker and AOC, the more the president can exploit it. Remember, he's also gone after Ocasio-Cortez and her colleagues. Just Monday, he tweeted AOC plus 3 are a nightmare for America. We told you yesterday that Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stopped 2 election security bills from passing the Senate after former special counsel Robert Mueller told us this week that Russians are actively trying to infiltrate American elections. McConnell called the bills partisan. What we didn't know then was that the Senate Intelligence Committee was set to release a report showing how widespread Russian attacks were on our election system. Even the redacted version of this report revealed bipartisan agreement that found Russians are trying to tap into vulnerabilities in state election infrastructure. It said that Russian hackers have the ability to change or delete voter data, but there's no evidence that they did. If you can't figure out why you should care, let me help you out. Here are the states that were scanned and cataloged by the Russians. Okay, in case you missed 1 or 2, let me give you the highlights. It's a club we like to call everybody. The Russians hit all 50 states. Securing our elections shouldn't be a partisan issue. As an American, voting is your right, regardless of what side of the aisle you stand. If Senator McConnell doesn't like the Democratic bill, he should pass a Republican bill. Just protect us. Senators, that's your job. That's all we have for you today. You can catch more of this show and other great content from Hill TV by subscribing to the Hill's YouTube channel. Just click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted, and use the hashtag WHISK to let us know what you think. I'm Jamal Simmons. You can find more of my work here or at Jamal Simmons on Twitter or Real Jamal Simmons on Facebook and Instagram. This is Why You Should Care.